seat that we pick for. So, and breakfast, or at least bacon. So, but it's always good to get up here and an opportunity to talk about any subject, and you know, I'm always happy to be a part of this great company. And I think it's you know, important to recognize, you know, the power of our company and all the training that we do, because a lot of your peers in the field are not getting any of this. They don't have this. They're out there on their own rowboat, out there with no support, and it's important to recognize that in this difficult time. You know, I know when a gentleman mentioned, does anybody have any money in the stock market? My first thought was, does anybody have any money? That's where I go. So that's what went through my head. So, but no. So it is. It's a great company. I'm proud to be part of this company, and we do offer lots of training in many subjects. And it's up to you. If you're not taking advantage of that, you only need to, you know, look at yourself and why not. So when things slow down, is always the best time to retool, educate yourself, and put yourself in a position so that when it does start heating up, and it will, things will get, you'll be in position to succeed. And as Tom was talking about those numbers, I also, you know, constantly look at our office numbers, and I know, you know, when people are hurting and not making money, it still doesn't help. But at least you know if other agents are suffering in some regards too, you don't feel like it's you. So, but we are still succeeding. So I was asked to do a few moments on fair housing, one of those very exciting topics, I'm sure. So, but it is important. It can become very exciting if you're called on the carpet for a fair housing violation, an excitement that you really don't want to have. So we're briefly going to go through a couple of things. Just quickly going to go through advertising guidelines, source of income, which is an issue here in Nassau County, to be careful of that, exemptions, and attitude. So as far as advertising goes, it's pretty much understood that a general rule is to describe the property, not the tenant, purchaser, seller, owner, neighbor, etc. The wording which describes a person or a group of persons, community, and neighborhood is likely to express discrimination if reference is made to any of these things: race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, and so forth. So pretty much when you're doing any type of ad, you should be describing the property, and stay away for who you're looking for. You know, you might think perfect for couple sounds nice, but that's discrimination. Okay, it discriminates. It's got to be careful. In fact, you know, many of those things, perfect for single person, you know, Irish, or any of those type of things, when you're, I always use Irish because I am Irish, so, no kidding, right. So, but it's important to remember when you're doing ads. Now, I will tell you that a lot of the media outlets right now have their own responsibilities to make sure that they are scrutinizing what you feed into them, that it's eliminating some of these killer words that we might put in there. But there are many publications that we utilize, like, you know, Town Criers, Penny Savers, Flyers, that we might put things in. A good rule of thumb is any ad you're going to put in, if it hasn't been approved by your manager already, run it by your manager. Okay? Don't just put something in that you might think is as harmless that could come back to haunt you in many regards. So, and as we know, it's important. Just describe the property, what it is, and watch out for certain words in those things. You can't say close to Beth Shalom or any of that type of stuff. You know, you could probably say close to House of Worship or things along those lines, but never specific where somebody could say, you know, where the Irish, you know, we would probably say, you know, close to the saloon. You know, so that's no good. So you can't do that. So it's very, very important. Now, the key here that I'd like to point out that doesn't get talked about, how many people are on Facebook? You're probably all my friends, right? So how many people, you know, go through all these other, there's so many different sites, you know, you need a 12-year-old to help you get through them all. But there's so many sites, and many of us, now if you're utilizing an e-property site or announce my listing type of site, link, it's probably already been scrubbed and it's adhering to all the proper things. But if you're going in your status, okay, and just putting, just got a 2-bedroom apartment, perfect for couple, Bingo! Guess what? You've just now violated a fair housing requirement. And the fact that you have a real estate license means you are responsible for any publication you put anywhere. So be careful what you're posting on there, because you are a real estate agent, and along with, you know, all of that 75 hours of education, the continuing education you must take, gives you a responsibility and requirement to adhere to that. So be careful what you're posting on social sites. It also can require it. And believe me, people are monitoring them. And plus, it's the right thing to do. So that really boils down to it. So for advertising guidelines, again, stress the property, not the person. And if you have any question about anything, check with your manager on it. Any new advertisement, you should do that anyway, and so forth. So, okay, you probably can't see this, but these are some of the words that should not be used. You know, adult, Puerto Rican, handicapped, not for handicapped, Mexican American, physically fit, knocks me out, mature, mature, there's a good one. Is anybody in here mature? You know, any of these type of things are a no-no. You know, you might think it's an act, but you know what? It could cause us a lot of money, a lot of fines, and things along those lines. So, non-drinkers, you can't say non-drinkers. You could say no drinking on premises. You can't say non-smoker. You could say no smoking on premises.
Drinkers are a protected class. Protected class. Drinkers?
Alcoholics are a protected class. You can't discriminate against a person for being an alcoholic. Unless they are acting in a manner that is dangerous. If they are fully active at the current time and they are dangerous to anybody, you're not discriminating them because of they're an alcoholic. You're discriminating because of their behavior, which can be dangerous. So. Now all of these things are all on Stratus, all these lists, we should be familiar with them and so forth, but again, be careful what you're putting on there. Now, Nassau, source of income. Nassau County Human Rights, for the last couple of years, has added to its covered classes of legitimate source of income, SSI, Section 8, or court-ordered alimony. Now what that means is anybody that's coming in that's on any of these programs, that income that they are getting needs to be counted just like you would count W-2 money or any type of money that they're making anywhere else. It's a legitimate source of income, and you can't discriminate against it, okay? Now, so that is in Nassau County only right now, I believe. I don't think it's hit Queens or Suffolk yet, but usually when it goes one place, it moves along. So, and I know that this comes up a lot, so now you might say, well, does a homeowner have to take somebody? Okay, so.
Do they? Excuse me, today, I find we have a lot of problems, a lot of people just won't accept.
Right. I'm going to touch base on that in a second. Yes, this is definitely an issue, okay? But there are exemptions that are allowed, that a homeowner in New York State, on the federal level, it's almost in one-family houses, but on the New York State level, a homeowner who lives in a two-family home and lives in the two can take exemptions because it's going to impact his life living there, okay? So, but never can it be based on race. Nobody, not a homeowner doing anything on his own, can never discriminate based on race, ever. There's no exemption to that. But in New York, in rental of two-family occupied homes, in the rental of a room or rooms in a single-family house, if the rental is by the occupant or the owner, when the restriction of the rental of all rooms in the housing accommodation is to individuals of the same gender. So if you're renting rooms out and you're only renting to females, and that's the standard for the thing, you can then rent only to females. It's not discriminatory to do that. And then also the communities that are 55 years and older. That used to be above my age. It's a shame. And they have certain properties that they can discriminate. You don't want to use the word discriminate, but they don't have to take children into those properties and so forth. So those are exemptions that a two-family owner can utilize. So you might say, well, oh, well, that's pretty good. How does that help me? There's one big problem. Salespersons and brokers in New York may not participate in any exemption listed above, except those that allow restriction of a sale, rental, or lease of housing accommodations, land, or commercial space exclusively to persons 55 years older. So as a real estate agent, if you were, lucky enough to garner a community that's 55 years older, you could become the rental agent or listing broker for that property. That's allowed. But if a homeowner says to you, well, I don't want no children, okay, I only want some people that are over a certain age, or I only want this type of person, or I'm not taking any Section 8. Guess what? He can do it, but you ain't making any money on it, okay? You're not allowed to participate in that sale, or that rent, in that sale, in the rental. So, and this is the dangerous one that a lot of us, will say, oh, okay, well, yeah, that sounds good on paper, but I'm not abiding by it, okay? Well, the one time you get caught doing it, that's when the excitement level starts kicking up again. You start getting excited and you come running in and you go, Dan, oh God, what do I do now? What happened? Can you get me out of this? And then I call Tom and say, Tom, get your checkbook ready. So the issue is, what do you do? Okay, what do you do when a homeowner says to you these type of things? So, and I'm not here to give you any ability to get around that law. So I don't have an answer for you. The answer is, skip that means next. Okay. Come on, Mike. Okay, the best course of action for an agent is to notify the owner landlord that accepting listings conveying limitations, purposes related to prohibited basis for discrimination can jeopardize your license and may cause liability. So it is best to refuse such a listing reported to your broker or principal if you cannot convince them to provide equal opportunity. So that is probably the most critical point to be emphasized here today. I know we all say, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I'll just, we'll just finagle around it, okay? If you're doing that type of behavior, you better make sure your manager is aware of it so that they could be prepared to be cuffed with you. Okay, so I know for me, my agents come to me with that stuff. No, we're not doing it. Just not going to do it. It's not worth it. No amount of short-term rental money is worth it for me to have this become a problem for not only you, the company, and everybody in it. So if you are in these situations, which I'm sure we all know they come up, and so forth. So just be very, very careful on this. Any question? Yes, sir.
Yes, I would say 99 out of 100 real estate listings for rental, you call them up and you ask them if they take Section 8, say no. Period. And I think we have to inform, or the state or whoever the fair housing is.
Eric here?
Yeah, I mentioned this to him. Why
And
can't
did he ask you, did you get your name and the list of all those rentals?
we should have a book. They should have a booklet that they can give a homeowner or someone who's renting to explain it to them, because I think they're unaware of it and nobody does anything about it.
Well, the responsibility falls to one person, you, okay? You are licensed by the New York State Department, okay? You have been given a right and a privilege to practice real estate. Accordingly, you are required to abide by law, okay? There's no gray area in that law, okay? It's the law. An attorney has to follow certain regulations, okay? If you choose to try to skirt around it, which I'm sure many people do, I'm not naive enough to know that, okay? It only takes, you have to be right 100% of the time if you're not going to get caught. Get caught once, and you'll never do it again, okay? Just like how many people here have gotten a red light ticket from one of those cameras? Okay. How many people have gotten 2? All right. How many people need to talk to their therapist? Okay. So typically, if you get burned once, you don't do it again, or almost to the point where you'll screech to a halt and create a pileup rather than go through that light, okay? So that's the problem. First of all, the real issue behind this, and this might sound altruistic and so forth, is that everybody has a right to live wherever they want, and what their basis of income should not be an issue to you. Now, this does not prevent an owner from doing the same standard profile or checking of the person that they would do for anyone. So if somebody's on Section 8 or something along those lines, and you want, what would you do for a typical renter? You would check what? Well, you'd prove the income, first of all. You'd verify the amount of money. Does that amount of money equal enough to live in the rent? You do what? What's the first thing you do on everybody?
Credit check.
Credit check. So if their credit is not good, that is a basis of identifying somebody's character and their ability to perform as a tenant for you. So they can screen everybody the same way. And that's what you're supposed to do. But you can't be like, well, I'll take Section 8 from you, but not listen. No, I'm not taking it from it. And and that's where people go wrong. So, but the bottom line is a homeowner at that particular time can say, look, I'm not interested in Section 8, and then the law is when you